Kyiv Post visited new mobile workshops capable of carrying out major equipment repairs being put together by volunteers and military engineers for the armed forces of Ukraine. The Ukrainian army has been engaged in continuous combat operations for 3 years and is constantly seeking and finding new ways to maximize its capabilities and limited resources. One of these innovations comes from Ukrainian engineers. Kyiv Post previously showcased the Novator combat vehicle, the capability of which impressed foreign partners, particularly because it was created under wartime conditions. But Ukrainians continue to push forward. Instead of makeshift workshops and relying on civilian service stations and tire repair shops, they have now developed and produced vehicle-mounted mobile workshops equipped with the necessary tools that will allow them to be deployed anywhere and fix damaged equipment on site. In this highly mobile war, keeping Ukraine's armored and lightweight combat vehicles on the road is essential. Kyiv Post takes a closer look.
My name is Stefan Korshak. I'm the senior defense correspondent of Kyiv Post newspaper. We're right here with a group of Ukrainian volunteers who prepare vehicles for the Ukrainian military for automotive repair. We're going to take a look at a large truck and a couple of converted pickup trucks. These guys are a pretty serious operation. They have so far converted 90 pickup trucks and about 60 large trucks for the use of the Ukrainian military. What happens is that the Ukrainian military or volunteers come up with a truck and these guys convert it. One of the most impressive parts about this operation is the cost. To convert this pickup truck right here costs the Ukrainians who are donating about 900,000 hryvnias, but for the Pentagon, for NATO, it's a whole lot more. So now let's take a look at these vehicles.
The first thing we see is a small, highly mobile pickup truck that has been completely transformed into a repair shop on wheels. Everything is available here: a tire repair station, welding machines, and even tools that wouldn't typically be considered military equipment.
So some of these things that you see on this vehicle are pretty obvious. They just make sense to any kind of maintenance mechanic. But some are less obvious, like this right here. This is, of course, to pretty much any Ukrainian housewife, a well-known object. It's a grinder. And most often, most Ukrainians know that machine because when you go to a farmer's market or a watch repair guy, there's a grinder there and he'll sharpen your knives or pare down the scissors or do something that needs grinding. What is this doing on a military repair vehicle that goes out into a war? Well, this is the Ukrainian army. And the Ukrainian army has found that when you go out into the field and start trying to repair vehicles that have been beaten up, banged up, and torn up in a war, just regular day-to-day use, it doesn't necessarily have to be because of an explosion, parts get worn, parts get bent out of shape, parts need to be pushed back into shape. And in order to make the fix, a grinder is very useful. If you don't have the grinder, then maybe you have to wait weeks for a new part. The Ukrainian maintenance guys have given feedback to the people putting this vehicle together that one of the things that they need in the field to keep their vehicles running is a basic, boring grinder that most people would think is used for sharpening knives. This is not something that you would see on a NATO vehicle.
All of this is powered by a generator mounted inside the vehicle.
Here's one feature. This is a generator that you need for various kinds of automobile work and maintenance. It's a Chinese manufacturer, but the guys who built this thing made sure they say that it's a high quality Chinese generator. They need this for powering the power tools.
The vehicle also carries a full set of tools for complex repairs, compressors, and additional power sources. This one was made for use by the 47th Mechanized Brigade. We sit inside and test it.
So, what we're going to do now is try and start the generator. And this is another example of how somebody with no training, no background, can hopefully operate an important piece of the equipment on this vehicle. They told me the generator's in here. There it is. They told me that if I put this key in that socket and turn it, the generator will start. Let's see.
However, Ukraine's engineers have gone even further. Sometimes on-the-spot repairs in the field aren't enough, and more complex work needs to be carried out away from the front lines. To address this, engineers have developed a fully functional mobile factory, hidden inside a shipping container that can be deployed on any platform.
Це максимально уніфікована майстерня, яка може обслуговувати майже всю техніку, яка вітчизняного виробництва, європейського, американського. Тут є присутній інструмент як і дюймової системи вимірювання, так і метричної. Тут є майже все. Тут є позварника, стенд для обжимки РВТ, обрізки РВТ шлангів і так далі. Він максимально комплектований для того, щоб виконати всі роботи. Якщо брати на увагу цей контейнер, його можна завантажити системою мультиліфт на будь-яку вантажівку, і виїхати будь-де, в яке місце, там, може бути посадка, лісочок, може якийсь ангарчик, немає різниці, де воно може бути. Краще всього там в посадочки вони поставили або в землю прикопали, умовно, і в будь-якому місці воно працює. Вона універсальна, вона мобільна, вона автономна. Її можна як підключити до мережі, міської мережі, або вона буде працювати від генератора. Повністю максимально автономна.
This setup is truly impressive. It contains nearly everything needed for field repairs. In essence, it's a mini factory on wheels.
I am right now inside a shipping container that the Ukrainians have redone into a basically car repair shop on wheels, vehicle repair shop on wheels. The first thing that you notice is it's warm. There's heating in here.
This truck is from Britain, and vehicle parts can be heavy. So how do they load them into the truck? There's a crane. It's simple, efficient, and makes heavy lifting much easier.
We are about, 2 meters, maybe 1.5 meters above the ground. And there are heavy objects like engines and, blocks that need to be brought into this thing. And it's a lot of physical work to bring it up here. So what's the solution? A crane. It goes out, it comes in. It didn't cost a whole lot of money. It's Ukrainian steel, and it does a job that's needed, that makes the operation more efficient. So, as you can see, it's a pretty simple approach. A completely untrained person can figure out how to do it. Nobody told me what to do. I just sort of doped it out. And now we are ready to lift something into the vehicle. You can see how high up I am. We're going to get like a real mechanic to actually run this thing. But as you can see, this is how the Ukrainians do it.
Most importantly, these mobile workshops allow troops to manufacture parts themselves, eliminating the need to wait for sometimes hard-to-get replacements.
At this end of the truck, you see a lot of pieces of equipment that at the end of the day are there not because the Ukrainians want to replace parts, but because the Ukrainians have concluded that they need to be able to make their own parts. We have a lathe. We have a drill that can do whatever needs to be done to drill a part out. Here's a press. With these tools, a lot of metallic parts can be machined right here. This is not something that is even close to the NATO approach. The NATO approach is you take out large parts of equipment and you replace them. The Ukrainians, in part because their supply chain simply doesn't have the spare parts to push into the units that are doing the fighting, have to think in terms of repairing what they have. And at times that means machining parts. What we're looking at here, you're probably not going to see in the field in a NATO unit. The Ukrainian army is at war, and their decision is that for them, this is the solution.
Even this wasn't enough. Volunteers have optimized everything, even setting up a dedicated welding station.
Пост зварювальника тут у нас є, і полуавтомати зварочні, і аргонодугова сварка, і у нас є плазморіз. Тут все, в принципі, є. І все укомплектовано всебічним інструментом. Тут хлопці провели систему пневмомагістралі, електромагістралі. Якщо побачите, все підключено до компресора, який також знаходиться поруч у нас з генератором.
Several Ukrainian units are already using these mobile workshops, including those in the Kursk region, Kharkiv region, and Donbass. They are proving highly effective on the front lines. But the engineers are not sitting back. They say there is still much work to be done.
Штука коштує 1 мільйон десь 930-940 тисяч гривень. Ну, 1 мільйон 950 плюс-мінус. По виготовленню вона, в принципі, як зараз вони хлопці у нас на потоці стоїть у хлопців, десь до 2 тижнів. Бо що вже все обладнання у них є в запасах, контейнери вони роблять однакові, в принципі, все це швидко. Такою, я вам скажу, по мобільним майстерням, як на базі пікапів, їх вже передано близько 90 штук. Таких мобільних майстерень, таких на базі контейнерів, універсальних майстерень, да? Ну, я думаю, вже близько 30-40, це точно. Їх передано військовим частинам по напрямкам. Я не скажу, багато військових частин, і Збройні Сили України, і Національна гвардія України, і взагалі майже у кожної там, в принципі, по напрямках, і це територіальна оборона. Да? Дуже багато комплексів передано, шиномонтажних комплексів на базі контейнеру. Їх ще більше, це дуже потрібна річ, максимально мобільна, яку можна виставити в будь-якому місці, вона буде обслуговувати всі колеса від легкових до вантажних.